Hi, my name is 𝗀𝗲𝗄𝗏. Before we start on the video, this week is on dynamic role-level security. I want to talk about my course that's in beta because it's my first course, but it's just full of my secrets on how to use Power BI. So if you want to be a beta tester while it's free right now, sign up and I'll put the link down below. So dynamic role-level security, if you're here, you've probably been struggling with static role-level security. And essentially what role-level security is you've got multiple rows in your data, be it a department or a sales region or a salesperson, and you want that person to be able to see their own data or a manager to see, a region's data. But you've been using the static role-level security and you realize, your company of 100 people, every time you have to go in and change the role for that person, takes a lot of time, right? So it's a quick video about how role-level security works. It's just the front part of it. I'm going to do a second video next week, so stay tuned for that. So the first thing I want to point out is there's a function called Userprincipalname. This is a really important function because when you invoke it, when you use it, the email address for the user that's logged into the cloud service, it gets passed into wherever you assign this function. So once you do that, the really cool thing is it flow down into your tables, and I have a lookup table here with the name mapped to an email address. So right now, Steve, when that person logs in, this line will be filtered, or this table will be filtered to just that line. And then it'll remove any other email addresses. So you can just load a table from your system with all the email addresses mapped into any name. So the second table I created, so now, we filtered just on Steve. He's going to come down, and I've just made some fake data and said Steve, his region is Michigan and Ohio. So it's going to come down into the second table, and suppose, I've set up Steve as kind of the manager of both regions. This table will now filter and just show those two regions. And then this table, just based on Userprincipalname, what they logged in as, is going to flow down through into the sales ID table, which is the actual sales table. So I just made some data up here, and it's going to pull Michigan, Ohio, and strip out the Indiana sales information. So now you just have information being shown to Steve that is based on the area that he manages. One of the trickiest parts about Userprincipalname is if you use Power BI Desktop and you're testing within Power BI Desktop, you could see here I wrote a measure and I put it in my measures table. It's always good to group your measures into a measures table. So you could see here I dragged it into a card in my dashboard, and it's showing kind of this structure for the Userprincipalname, 𝗀𝗲/, and then the username. But when you put it into the cloud and you use Power BI Service, you can see here Userprincipalname is the person's email address that's coming in. So this trips up a lot of people. When you're testing on your desktop, this is going to show up, but that's why it's good to write this measure out and keep it available in a card. So when you're doing your testing, you can see what's being passed into this function. And then the last step that I'm going to talk about today is once you have everything, now you have to manage roles, go into manage roles, and you just create a generic name. This one is user, or you can call it Userprincipalname. It's just the name of the role, but in this instance, it's dynamic. So just put a generic placeholder in. And then this, I'm going to pick the table that's the highest level. I showed you in that first graphic. We're going to pull the sales emails table because that's the one that flows into all the other tables. And I'll bring that graphic up once again. Let's go back to that one. So you can see here, this is the table with the name and email addresses. So that's the table we want to filter on first because Userprincipal has to be tied to that. So we're going to go back down to here, and you're going to click on sales emails. You're going to click on the ellipses on the right side. It's going to show you create filter, I believe. So I'm going to bring that up real quick. So here is an example. That same data set. I'm going to go to manage roles. I'm going to find sales emails. I've already written that in here, but what you do to filter this table is you right click, add filter, and then you pick the field that you're going to filter on. And in this case, we're going to use principal name to filter the email addresses, see if they match. If they match, we'll take that. So you can already see I've already got this one, so I don't need this. But so when you go here and you say add filter and you say email address, it's going to say value. So this is where you put your function Userprincipalname, and make sure your spelling is correct. Okay, there's an error. Oh, I've got the quote. Let's check that again. Syntax is good. Save. And then now you can publish to the cloud. So you're going to go here, publish to the cloud, and then the next step is a little bit tricky too, because you're going to publish to the cloud and add users to it. And I've been testing adding user groups. That way you don't have to type in each email. So stay tuned for that next week. And don't forget, you have my YouTube channel. If you could subscribe if you like this video. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm going to post videos there and content there. And if you want to sign up for my class, I'll put the link down below. Thanks, bye.